Are you surprised with Undertaker how, they did documentary on him? He was so quiet for all these years. I know obviously he's retired now, and that obviously it's probably he's probably like, "Oof, now I can stop playing the character. I can open up a little bit." Were you though surprised to see that? Because he was so guarded for so many years. He was so mysterious, to the
I am,
fans.
yeah, I am surprised. I'm very happy about it. He's a really smart guy. I mean, nobody could go that long in a character like that and transform that character several times into several different iterations, end up basically back at square one with the same character after so many years, and still be as over as he was from day one without being very smart. He's also a lot of fun. I've played golf with him a ton. I've gone out with him a ton. He's a good guy. And what I love about the fact is now people are starting to see what we knew all along. He wasn't just a locker room leader because he was the top guy for so long. He was a locker room leader because he was who he was as a person. And I'm really happy that people get to see that. He's got a wonderful sense of humor, and he's a really smart guy. He's very interesting. I'm glad that he's jumped out of that character and allowing people to see him for himself. And I'm sure he enjoys it, because he never got to do that. And that's a burden, to go do an interview and okay, you got to stay in character. You can't be yourself. You can't be entertaining. If something funny pops into your head, you can't say it because that's not in character. Now I saw him with Kevin Hart doing something cold as balls or something. I just saw a clip of it just before I came on the show. It looked hilarious and good for him that he's getting to do that.
Yeah, it was like during the pandemic, you had The Last Dance with the Bulls and The Last Ride with The Undertaker, both done so well, but it was like, wow, it's such a cool experience to, we didn't really know. I mean, we saw the Bulls, but to get that backstage presence with it, but then to really get behind the scenes with Undertaker, who never did interviews and stuff before, that was so fascinating. Great job by WWE
He
production.
told
Like
me a
Kevin Dunn
story
and the crew.
one. He told me a story one time. I've never heard it tell anybody else. He was, he never let anybody see him sell. No matter what happened. When he had the ear cut off in London and flew back. That's one of the reasons that he choked out Kurt Angle was because he didn't want to hold the boys up on the charter, so he waited till he came back to have surgery on his ear, which that's pretty cool to do. You wonder why a guy's the locker room leader. You lead by example. And that's when he was, messed up on pain and all kinds of stuff. He looks up and Vince and Kurt are wrestling and he grabs Kurt from behind. And, that's the famous story of him and Kurt Angle. But he told me a story one time. He came into TV and he was hungover. I don't know if him and Godfather had been out all night or all month, but he decides he's going to find a place to lay down. He goes into one of his caskets. So he lays in one of his caskets and he goes to sleep. Well, those things aren't made for air, as Bobby Heenan always says. So he wakes up a little bit later. He's hot, he's sweating, and he opens up the casket. And he realizes in the meantime, people have gathered around the casket just talking. No, it had nothing to do with the casket, just backstage talking. And there are people that were guests of the show, not internal people. And as he realized what it was, he threw the casket open. He sits up, gets out, walks off, and leaves. And they're looking at him like, "Oh my God. It's real. He really is. He sleeps in a casket." Never
That's
smart.
awesome. That's awesome. That's like the ultimate, like, holy crap, that's a real character. Oh my God. I thought he was just a gimmick. Oh my God. That's awesome. It's got to be a little scary though. If you're sitting there and all of a sudden he pops out, you're like, oh, damn.
I would think it would be. I've been in a couple of those caskets. I didn't do very well in casket matches, so I never enjoyed it. I wasn't claustrophobic. I was a little bit claustrophobic. I know I was a little more claustrophobic than I was worried about just the casket. The casket didn't bother me, but those things are not comfortable being inside them and locked.